Hello, talented people. This is Catrina Frison of Banner Media Group. So, today I want to talk about strategy for actors. Now, I know there are various different types of actors. So, I want to own in particularly for those of you who are interested in film and television, leaning more towards film. Okay. This can be used, and I'll say this, if you are an actor otherwise, if there are other avenues of acting that you are interested in, by all means give me a shout in the comments and I'm happy to answer or apply what I'm about to say to that area, that genre. Okay. So I get the question all the time. My child or I want to get into acting. How do I get started? What's the easiest way? What's the quickest way? What would you recommend? And so these are two ways that I recommend to get work right away. Okay. One, you can create a profile on a casting agency's website. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Please forgive me. Create a profile on a casting site. On a casting site. That is what I mean. A casting site. And basically, there are casting sites out websites out there, and you can create a profile just like you do in terms of like a social media page. You put up a photograph, you put up your bio, a short bio. You can do your statistics. Some of them are very user friendly in terms of what, they have a framework or a template in terms of the information that you're needing to provide to someone who is a potential client, a casting director who is looking for a specific type, filmmakers and the like. So creating a profile on a casting site is a great way to get started. Now, the other thing, what I was going to say is you can register with a local casting agency. Registering with a local casting agency, you go find your local casting agency, go to their website, and many of them have a space on their site that says, "Hey, register with us." And then you submit your information. Some of them are set up in the same way as a casting site would, or others will email us the following information to be registered with us. And there's typically no cost to register with a casting agency. It's just to let them know, if they're set up in that way, is to let them know that you are available should any work come along the path that fits your type. What I mean in terms of your type, if they're looking for female, African American, this particular age, living in this particular area or in this particular area, they will contact you typically via email to say, "Hey, this opportunity is available. Are you available? And here are the details." So it gives you an opportunity to submit for a specific project in real time. Now, on a casting site, many times on a casting site, they post a lot of different opportunities that are available, and then you can submit through their system. You can say that you're interested, and then the casting director or whomever is in charge of that project will contact you for further information. But either way, it gives you the opportunity to gain some experience. Now, this is one thing that I would say to you. If you live in a small town, I would encourage you to look, and there's no casting agency in your town. I encourage you to look for agencies in the nearest major city, and it doesn't have to be a major city, but I would go major city. Somewhere where you can drive there and within 2 hours. 2 hours is a long time for some, but if you can get there in a car, then I would look at those agencies and register with them. Seems like I was going to say something else about that. Now, here's another thing. For an actor, it's important for you to build your resume. And if you're a student, you can build your resume right away. It doesn't have to include all professional work with you starting out. And you can build a resume whether, you know what I mean? Like if you've never done this before, you can still build a resume. Here's how. Again, like I said, if you're a student, let's say you're in high school, if you are part of the drama club, or you have auditioned and you are in a school play, put that school play, the character you played, and the name of the high school on your resume. Same thing for college. Now with college, you may be majoring in drama. Put under your education, certainly you're going to put your school, but you're also, if you any productions that you participated in, you can also put that as well. If your professor is someone that is known in the acting I was going to say acting industry, that's not the right term. If your professor is a working actor, that's what I was going to say, then certainly you can put the name of the class that you took with them. You know what I mean? If you were coached in any way, if you have an acting coach, you can certainly put that as well. That's information that can go in on your resume. The other thing about an actor is, and I encourage you to take acting courses, whether you take them at school or you take them outside of school. But anytime that you take a course, specifically in acting, that needs to go on your resume. It shows that you, one, made an investment, but also that there are certain skills that you have learned based upon what that school, academy, or coach offers. Now, also the thing that you want to put in your resume is what your skills are, and you want to really think this through, because the key word here is skill. If you are an actor who has a great voice, you really know how to sing, then singing can be a skill for you. If you know how to skateboard, well, I mean, not that you own a skateboard and not that you saw a skateboard, but you can ride one well without falling, then that can be a skill. It can be double dutch. It can be, think of all the movies you've seen and all the things you've seen people do. Skills. If you speak a foreign language, oh my goodness, that's a good one. If you speak a foreign language, you're fluent. I don't mean you can say hello and goodbye, but you literally can carry a conversation. You are fluent in that language. Add that to your resume as a skill, because there are times when filmmakers are looking for someone specifically who is fluent in this language, someone who can double dutch, someone who can ride a skateboard, someone who is athletic, who can run, jump, flip, all those things. If you took gymnastics, right? You are good at gymnastics. That is a skill that you can use in film as an actor. Plenty of times, if you're an athlete, now you got to be really careful on that one, but being a background actor, you can do that in terms of just, being in some type of production. But there are all kinds of skills that you may have that you utilize otherwise, but they can be considered skills to be used in acting. I remember being on set for a movie and where I was an extra, but there was a scene that took place in a restaurant. Now I played just a restaurant patron. That was my job, but the director was looking, he asked for anybody among the background actors, hey, have any of you ever waited on tables? So there was a young lady who did. She said, yeah, I'm a waitress. And so he says, okay, I need you. And she became a featured extra because she had the experience of waiting tables. So you see her in the scene waiting tables. So listen, think through your skill set and add those things on your resume to let filmmakers, decision makers, casting directors know what else you are available to do. When you submit, okay, and when I say submit, if you're on a casting site and they say, we are looking for 16-year-old Caucasian males, who athletic build. Let's say that's the criteria. They're always going to give you the specific criteria that you fit, right? When you submit, follow the instructions that they ask you for. They're always going to ask you for your name, your email, your contact information, your height, your weight, sometimes your sizes if they're going to give you a costume, if they're going to provide wardrobe for you. They're going to ask you all those different things. And if you are a local hire, now let me define local hire for you. Local hire simply means that you live in or near the area where production is taking place. You can get to it in a car quickly, right? Now, that also means that no one is providing accommodations. You're not spending the night. They're not sending you a plane ticket. There's no travel or accommodations involved with a local hire because you live or are near that area and you can get there quickly. And after the end of the day, you can go home. Now, so I'm gonna leave it right there. We'll talk more about that in another video. So when you submit, this is what I want to say. You want to pay attention to the qualifications to make sure that you qualify. And you don't need to have a professional headshot to be an extra, right? To be a background actor. All you need is a headshot that you can take with your phone and a full body shot that someone else can take of you with your phone and submit that. However, I will say this, if you are submitting, make sure that however you looked in those photos is how you look when you show up to the set. For example, I was sitting at an event with another actor, and the day that I saw her, she had red hair, and there was a professional actor giving a talk, just talking about the industry and that sort of thing. But we were just in conversation. So she had red hair when I saw her. So then she had her headshot, but her headshot was blonde. Her hair was blonde. And so she asked me the question. She said, I'm thinking about auditioning for this or that. And, what do you think about my headshot? And so I said, and it was beautiful. And I said, you have a great headshot. I said, but listen, if you're going to submit blonde hair to a casting director, they're going to accept you based upon that blonde hair. You can't show up with red hair when they casted you with blonde. It won't work. You need to look like the headshot. And if you change your hair, then give them a headshot with red hair, because that's what you look like right now. Make sure you match your headshot. Same thing for guys. You may have submitted a picture where you had a great locks, great fro, but then you cut your hair down to the bone and you show up bald, and that's not who they cast. It's important that you look like your headshot. And I encourage you every 6 months to update, especially if you've got, snapshots. Every 6 months, update your snapshot and or headshot, because you want to match. If you make any significant change, if you shave off your beard or your goatee or your mustache, or if you cut your hair, my hair is shoulder length, but if I cut it and it's short, then I need a short headshot with short hair. You get the picture. That's all important. And follow the instructions. Be on time. Have your documentation and follow instructions. That is my recommendation for you in getting started as an actor, getting work right away. Now listen, you take this advice, right? And you get a job. I want you to contact me. I want you to go to bannerexcellence.com, and you can go to CatrinaFrison.com and send me. In fact, and you can send me a message. Either way, you can go to our social media, Banner has social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can send me a message. I'd love to know how it went. And also, if you want recommendations as it relates to casting agencies, I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia area, but and I am familiar with casting agencies throughout the United States. If you are interested in getting a list of casting agencies that I would recommend, particularly because I've worked with them or had clients that work with them, then send me an email. And I'll put it in the description. You can email connect@bannerexcellence.com, and I'll be happy to send you my recommendations. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. Listen, if you know an actor that could use this information, be sure to share. Go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't already, give it a like, and I'll see you in the next video.